Good morning, everybody. It's Sheiv the Wise, and this is Vader's Lair. Today we have a very special guest, and it's one of my good friends on YouTube. He's actually probably the most wholesome person I've ever met on YouTube, and probably the best person in terms of like fan base. Like, if you want someone to show who your fan base is, this is who it is. And he loves hanging out in the cold. You know who it is. Star Wars Santa. Welcome on, buddy.
Thanks so much, Chief. I've been looking forward to this. We've been having a lot of fun this week.
Oh, yeah.
Chatting about Cad Bane, and we kind of threw down the gauntlet toward each other. We're just having a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah.
I'm happy we get on and kind of talk together and look forward to what's coming. Right.
Me too, man. Oh, I think this second half of the season, I've been saying it for a while now. I think it's going to be pretty lit. I think it's going to start to get crazy, and I'm excited for it. Hopefully you see some Cad Bane Boba action.
Yeah. Well, that's really the heart of the debate, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
We saw in that concept art, and I think like you, when I first saw the concept art, I was like, nah, that ain't real.
Yeah, even the way it looks, right?
Right. And so I dismissed it. But then I saw that that's actually on StarWars.com. It's it's an episode guide. It's a resource for the animators. And I was like, holy smokes, this changes everything. So,
yeah.
So at that point, I'd watched your video where you're like 100%. I was like, oh, Sheiv, I'm coming for you.
Yeah. You know how it is at 1 a.m. when I'm doing those live streams. I just talk out of my butt. It's a fun time, though. I think I'm definitely starting to think that it's more and more likely that metal plate probably already is there. And if that's the case, it's definitely possible that my whole white helmet theory and everything has just gone into the trash at this point.
Well, it really is a question. Like, did that scene already happen? Why else would they put that? Why else would they put that plate on Cad Bane's head if he hadn't been shot there? And all along, you and I both share a huge love for Cad Bane, right?
Huge love for Star Wars in general. Hell yeah!
Holy moly! Like, Cad Bane's got to be my favorite bounty hunter. He's way over Boba Fett for me, and I just love him. And so when that deleted scene, unfinished scene, the first time I saw it, it's like, well, they didn't canonize that because they didn't finish it, so Cad Bane could still be alive. It's that keeping hope eternal.
Yeah, definitely. Then, I'm on the same page with you as that.
Yeah, and then a lot of people bring it up and say, well, Boba killed Cad Bane. And I'm like, well, hold on. Check yourselves, because this is Star Wars we're talking about.
Does anyone ever really die?
Right. I mean, especially fan favorites, right? Fan favorites will find a way to bring in. And Cad Bane fits the role. So you're counting on, like, they'll figure out a way to bring him back. If it's the Night Sisters or somebody, they're going to bring him in.
Oh, yeah.
And a metal plate, that does it. And then, so now we know that if that scene happened, and I think it's almost certain that it did, then Cad Bane survived.
Yeah. So I'm starting to wonder how he would have survived. We both have kind of talked about how Boba in that scene had taken 2 shots, and obviously we assume one hit in the head as the hat flew off, and now he has the metal plate on his head. So, or at least presumably. But I'm really curious how he would have survived that. We see Fennec Shand gets saved by Boba and the Mando, and then she has like cybernetic parts. So I'm wondering if maybe even Boba could have helped him out and like saw something like that he could have used, or even from a young age of like 14 or 15 years old, or if one of the other bounty hunters in that scene could have potentially helped him out and saved him.
or
And of course,
Toto even, right?
yeah, that's also what I was thinking. And we see, because Toto did, I think he got destroyed actually in the Clone Wars, and Cad Bane had repaired him. And
He's had like 2 or 3 of them.
yeah, to be honest, that thing keeps dying, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Good morning, Jedi Jen. Good morning. It's good to see you guys. Thanks everybody for coming by.
It's a great day. Yeah. So I have another theory about Fennec Shand before we go too far astray. I think that maybe the cybernetics in her were already there by the Mando.
I've had those thoughts too, and I definitely think that's possible. It's really interesting though.
It is. And if Boba has picked up, like you just said, if he's already picked up by 14, 15 years old, the ability to like insert cybernetics or anything like that, it could be possible that he helped Cad Bane survive that wound. I just don't think that's likely.
Probably not. It's just another fun theory I threw out there.
You just shot him in the head. Oh, sorry, dude. Let me patch that up for you. Right? But the question then comes, will we get to see that reenacted? Will they duel again? And that's where we are. And,
yeah, I'm kind of on the same line as you. I'm wondering if we'll get a flashback in Book of Boba, because we've already had rumors that this show is going to take us to Boba's past from Tamora Morrison himself.
Right.
So what if we see a flashback of that scene, or a flashback of him potentially helping Cad Bane?
The chat is awesome this morning. Hey, my bad. Let me fix your brain.
But yeah, I'm curious about the same thing, and I talked about how Cad Bane would be in his late 60s, early 70s if he is in Book of Boba. So I'm wondering if that's how they can tie him into that show, and if he will end up dying in Bad Batch, or if he's going to survive to the Book of Boba and be that 60, 70-year-old guy that we could potentially see. So obviously at this point, the possibilities are just endless. As a Star Wars fan, it's just so exciting. But
that's why, like, there's a lot of reaction videos out there when people first saw Cad Bane, like, there's a good one of me, and I saw one of the All New Nerds, and like everybody had that moment, like, snap, like what? It was great. And so they brought him back. If he got that skull plate on, then they brought him back for a reason.
Yes.
And he's captured. He's captured Omega. So where are we going with it? And I think that this ensures 100%. So I'll throw my 100% out there. My 100% is Boba Fett will show up in this season of the Bad Batch.
I'm right there with you.
Guaranteed.
Yeah. So in my white Boba helmet video, I talk about how there's almost no way that Dave would have put all this stuff in that one room and it just be a coincidence. I mean, we see Jango's blasters in there. We see 2 clone helmets along with the Mandalorian helmet. Like, there's just so much, like, in that one room to indicate that Boba's going to be in this show. It's almost impossible he's not going to be in the show at this point,
I completely agree. Completely agree. And then the question, and we were talking about just before we came on here, before we went live, is that helmet, Jango's helmet, definitely split in half and like demolished.
Yeah.
In the unfinished scene, Boba's wearing the full armor.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, as a result of the duel, he gets the dent in the helmet. And we see that dent live all the way through, right? All the way through the Mandalorian. So from that scene all the way through, he's got that helmet. If it's already happened, your white helmet theory is gone.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's way gone at this point, if that's the case.
But where did he get the helmet that he had on? Is that his dad's helmet, or was it another one he procured?
Yeah, so I was wondering the same thing, and that's really why I did think that this white helmet could potentially be his, but I don't really know if I don't think it's his dad's helmet, because like you had just mentioned, it gets like literally demolished, like it's almost like cut in half in the Clone Wars, because he tried to blow up Mace Windu and Anakin. He almost was successful too. And it's really interesting to me. I know we talked about this before the stream too, that his dad actually had the same exact dent on the same exact part of his helmet in episode 2, Attack of the Clones. And I think he gets that dent in the Battle of Geonosis, and that was originally like how the writers were trying to say that the whole dent thing happened. And then of course George was like, well, that's not how I want it, and he told Dave to change it in Clone Wars. And that I had this little clip of Dave Filoni on I think it's Star Force Radio or Star Rebels Radio, something like that. My bad. But he basically told them that George's vision he's like telling George the same thing I was just saying, and that, well, he had the same exact dent and the helmet was destroyed. So like, how does that work? And he's like, of course, in George fashion, make it work.
Right. That's not my problem to figure out.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love it's funny you bring that up, because it's funny during the original trilogy when they switched the lightsaber color for for Luke. They were like, how are we going to explain that his hand was chopped off and he lost his lightsaber? How do we explain he has a new one? And George is like, don't worry about it. They can theorize about it, but we don't have to answer that.
Yeah.
We're like, well, how about we just give him a green lightsaber instead of a blue one? Deal. So
yeah, I think he did the same thing with Darth Maul too. Dave was like, well, how are we going to bring him back? Figure it out, Dave. Go ahead.
Like, George, you cut him in half. He fell down the shaft. He's like, figure it out. Right. Right. So Boba and Jango's dent, explaining that becomes a chore. But if he's got the helmet, he's got a new helmet, then it's dented, and presumably it's the same one that we see all the way through Mandalorian, which opens the possibility of the white helmet going to Omega, which has been my theory for early on.
Yeah, I thought it was possible too.
I got it from Will Morgan. Will Morgan really picked up on it from Meta Egg.
Yeah,
he started messaging me, and the more I went into down that rabbit hole, the more I bought into it. And let's see, I got it here, just for anybody that's not kept up. There's the white prototype armor, and that came from the early concept drawings for Boba Fett, and he was supposed to be a super trooper. I think, Super Trooper, in all white. So we see this helmet in Maz's office, right? So you see this helmet. If Boba's already got one, then maybe Omega will end up wearing it.
Just maybe. I think that's definitely possible too. That was my second guess after Boba, and I still want to see Boba have it, but I think it could be really cool if Omega gets that helmet. And it would really make her feel probably more part of the team and almost look more part of the team too,
Yeah. So the other question that I think is really valid for asking is, if Cad Bane isn't killed in the Bad Batch seasons, and he's survived through to the Book of Boba, right?
Yeah.
The Book of Boba. Then where was he when Vader called in all the bounty hunters to go get Han Solo? What was Cad Bane doing?
Yeah, another point on top of that I've been wondering heavily lately, and it's been probably one of my biggest arguments that I haven't really told you yet. But I believe during the time of the Empire in the original trilogy, and I think this was recently even confirmed, maybe in the Bounty Hunter comics or something, but I believe it's confirmed, or at least like presumed, that Boba is the greatest, if you will, or the best bounty hunter in the galaxy at that point. So if that's the case, is it just because Cad Bane is rusty or a little older at this point, or is it because he's dead?
Right. And those are great questions. I know we both, the more Cad Bane we get, the better.
Yeah.
But we've staked our claims. We both put our flags in the ground that Cad Bane will or won't be killed by Boba
Fett. Yep. Yeah.
And that,
So yesterday we had a little wager where, if Cad Bane dies by the hand of Boba Fett, Santa will have to use the lair as his background for a week, and if he doesn't die from Boba Fett's hand, I have to head into the North Pole for a week.
it's going to be great either way. I look forward to it. I honestly think that they already played that out, and that they want to use Cad Bane more, and they'll figure it out. They'll figure out where was he during the original trilogy. Why didn't he show up? I mean, he did get a brain bruise there, so I don't know. But if he's already showed up in the Bad Batch, and he's quite competent, then and you know he got Omega from Hunter, a Hunter of all, right? Like,
yeah.
He beat
the
Hunter.
leader.
Yeah, a leader, an enhanced clone with superior training, right? These guys are not no joke, right? And Boba Fett just took him.
Yeah.
So, or not Boba Fett.
Cad Bane. I knew what you meant.
Took him, right? Cad Bane took him. So presumably Cad Bane would be top dog or one of the top dogs. Yeah. What happens to him when Vader calls in the top bounty hunters? But I think they could explain it.
Yeah.
And then we get Cad Bane in live action. I'm feeling it. And I'm dying to see it. And if that doesn't happen, I just don't want him to get killed by Boba Fett. So
yeah, I know you don't. Moss says, "What would Cad Bane do in retirement? Not gardening, furniture making." That's a pretty good one.
That's good. Moss is on this morning.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I'm really conflicted with some of the other information, like how are they going to navigate this? And personally, I think it's exciting. It's fun to be able to speculate this way. Mm-hmm. And I know you and I both say it. Speculate responsibly.
Oh yeah, I mean, you put me onto that because I definitely can get a little unresponsible with my speculating. I love to speculate though; it's so fun.
Well, you don't want to Josh Lucas it.
Right? No, never that.
I'll turn him into a verb. Right? You don't want to put all your eggs in the basket of Mephisto and then not get it and then rage out.
No, I definitely will not be raging out. Maybe for that white helmet theory, that needs to happen.
Well, I couldn't help it when I watched your video. You said 100%. Boba Fett kills Cad Bane in a future episode, either here or the Book of Boba Fett. I'm like, deal.
Yeah. So there is two things I want to get into before we keep getting on with this awesome conversation. But I'm really curious what you think will happen going forward, and I want to know what you think about the Kaminoans hiring other bounty hunters, and if you think Boba could have potentially been one of the bounty hunters they hired, and that's how we could eventually get the tie-in to him.
Well, in the last episode, when they said they were going to go to Plan B, the feedback was, well, we've already hired one, right?
Yeah,
so they had one, and they added another, so that's two. Might they have contracted out, to the bounty hunters guild? Mm-hmm. Hey, whoever brings him in gets the bounty, or brings her in gets the bounty. That's possible. We know there's another scene of Fennec Shand in the trailers that we've not seen yet.
That's right. And I did think outside of potentially Boba being in it and him going after. Are you there, Santa? Did he freeze? Did I freeze? Uh-oh. You still there? Uh-oh. Well, that's a little strange. All right. What I was going to say, though, on that point is we definitely could see Fennec. I definitely think she's probably going to be in it again. Oh, you're back?
I'm back.
Cool. All right. So I definitely think Fennec could be the one that eventually tries to intercept Cad Bane, because that is her bounty as well. And we know that bounty hunters are kind of self-centered and they want to get the job done, you know. Plus, she's a new up-and-coming member of the guild. So I do think that she's going to take it a little personal that they hired someone else, and she's going to try and, you know, get in between Cad Bane and the Kaminoans, and she's going to try and bring in the bounty herself. So potentially, I do think that's the case. I don't know if they had said just one or if it was multiple people. Like, to me, I got the impression that they were hiring a couple more people because one was not getting the job done, and this elite squad may have been more than they had bargained for. I don't know. That was just the impression I got, though.
Well, there's been rumors we're going to get Bosk, and it would make sense that we get more bounty hunters. I think it's a given we're going to get Boba Fett. We could get Bosk. We definitely Phoenix coming again, and we're definitely getting more Cad Bane. So life is good for the bounty hunters. So whether the Kaminoans hired them or they, cross paths because Boba calls in his friends, which I think is probably more likely.
Yeah.
Boba's going to say, "Hey, I need some help," and he's going to bring in Bosk and maybe a couple others. Imbo, right? It's possible.
Yeah, or Dengar, or all those guys.
Right. So we're liable to get all of those, and I think that we're going to see some of this happen pretty soon. I've heard from the elves every now and then they get some inside information. They've heard that the folks who have already pre-screened episode 9 say we're in for another big one.
Oh, so, yeah.
I don't know how you get bigger than Cad Bane, except Darth Vader, maybe.
Well, maybe Boba Fett.
Or Boba Fett, right.
You know, it's funny that you said earlier, like, we're both pretty big Cad Bane fans. And growing up as a little kid, I grew up mainly in the Clone Wars era because I was born the year the Phantom Menace came out. So the prequel trilogy was definitely my childhood, but the Clone Wars was really me growing up. And I remember seeing Cad Bane that first season. I was like, dang, that guy is sick. And I've always thought he was cooler than Boba Fett because Boba Fett did nothing in the original trilogy.
Right. I keep saying Boba Fett was a chump, right? And I do it mostly just to irritate Josh because I love irritating Josh. The more you riled up you can get him, the better his shows get. So, if I can poke the bear, I'm going to poke it. And I don't know if Josh, watches any of my content, but I can say I throw it out there from time to time in hopes that he gets word that I'm out here bad mouthing Boba, and that'll get him riled up.
Right. Well, I'll hop on that train, but I'm definitely starting to hop on the Boba simp train as well. I think he's pretty cool now.
Right, Bad Doodle. Who doesn't love making Josh rage? Right. That's exactly right. So, and I think the second half of the season, as far as forecasting, we're going to be chasing down Omega. We're going to have Cad Bane trying to keep her, and we're going to have the Bad Batch trying to get her back.
Yep.
And we do see Rescue on Ryloth as a
yes. So you've seen the leaked episode titles, yeah?
Yeah, absolutely. Rescue on Ryloth could be where everybody meets up to reclaim Omega.
Yeah, and I do find it interesting though. Obviously I'm not super into like where all the planets are and all the sectors. Like I have to look all that stuff up whenever it's just name dropped or something. But I'm curious how they would end up on Ryloth of all planets, and if that's close to Camino, or like just how that would end up happening, and why Ryloth would be the planet they rescue her on. And I don't know. I've had thoughts that maybe Rescue on Ryloth is something else, but I'm still leaning on the same thing with you that it's probably where they're going to rescue Omega.
Yeah, I think if it's not Omega, it really leads. But my goodness, I'm super hyped for episode 9. Seeing Cad Bane, just amped up my enthusiasm to a 10.
Yeah.
And I just at this point, I just can't wait. And, and anybody who has kind of been down on the season to this point, get on the train. Come on along. It's good fun.
Yes, I'm with you. And I love that the two of us, at least I keep up with most of what's going on in the Star Wars YouTube space. And there's definitely some creators that are pretty into the show, but I feel like no creators are quite into the show as much as the two of us are. So again, I'm really glad to have you on, man. I think.
Yeah, well, and I love that we've had this little friendly banter going back and forth, and so now we've got a little skin in the game, right? in a fun, friendly wager like friends would do. How's Cad Bane going to die? Is Boba doing it or somebody else? At this point, I'd rather see him trip and fall down, bonk his head, and die than see Boba do it, because I don't want to live in Vader's castle for a week.
Well, I already had told you this morning too. It's starting to get a tiny bit colder in California finally, so I think it's a sign that I might end up losing this bet. I might have to come to the North Pole.
Oh, it's so much fun, and I really appreciate that when we were bantering back and forth that it went this direction, and I couldn't wait to come on. I'm like, Sheiv, we have totally got to get on and debate this, and I'm thrilled that we could get this working on your channel.
Yeah, dude, thank you for suggesting that. I'm glad I figured out StreamYard in like 10 minutes.
280 subs is definitely not enough for Sheiv. So
no, thank you.
We need to get more subs to Sheiv. And I know I'm working on reaching my monetization level. We're still 500 hours out from 500 hours from reaching the 4,000 total. So we're plugging away, and this has been fun. And I look forward going forward. So you put in your predictions 2 weeks ago. You missed it last week.
Yes, I did. I'm sorry.
We've been doing predictions. So 2 weeks ago we tied.
Yes, and now that I already put in my predictions for episode 9. So hopefully I keep up, and maybe this time I might even beat you.
There we go. And that's this is fun. And I put in, I tweeted out this morning. I retweeted yours and said, "Look, Star Wars can bring people with different opinions together rather than divide us." And you and I both have gotten into some heated exchanges with certain individuals, but at the same time, we can disagree about things and how things are going to roll out, and still just have fun, enjoying Star Wars. And I'm loving Star Wars at this point.
Yeah, at the end of the day, we really are all Star Wars fans. Like, it doesn't matter which part of the Star Wars you love and everything. It's about respect and just being able to get along, which the two of us, I feel like, definitely do. And we have that respect level. And even though I'm a big prequel fan, and you grew up with the original trilogy and you love the sequels, like we get along better than butter and toast. So
That's right. That's a really good example. Butter and toast. Look, we're having a lot of fun, and just again, I know we both are members of the Den, and what happened yesterday with Josh was terrible. You guys, let's go over to the Den this morning. So I think it's on the regular channel, and let's give Josh some support there.
Yeah, he starts at 10:30 Eastern, right?
I don't know, 10:30. It's Josh Standard Time.
Oh, so, yeah, it is.
He likes to say he's like Gandalf. He starts exactly when he intends to.
Yep. So with the whole predictions and everything, I want to talk about what I think might happen real quick and just kind of rebuttal off of some of what you said yesterday and just get my ideas out there, So I think what I'm hoping for, at least, is that metal plate that we saw in the concept art might not be on him yet, or if he does have it, that it's what's going to eventually prevent him from dying in a potential duel with Boba. So I think it's possible he does have that metal plate, and sort of like how the tubes that he has allow him to breathe if he gets force choked, that if he got shot in the head in a duel, he could potentially survive it. And I know that's a little bit hopeful and it would make more sense that he had that there after the duel. But I think if he had it there and they potentially duel in this series, that it would make for an even better setup in the Book of Boba, and then we would actually finally get to see this arc in animation, along with the fact that we just got a similar duel with Hunter, and it would be great foreshadowing for the end of the season.
Oh, very good. Yeah, even if either way, right? Either they retool it for the Bad Batch, or we get a flashback scene.
Yeah.
Either way, I'd be thrilled to death to see it. But I think that concept art showing the plate shows that he's going to survive that duel, whether it happened or it's going to happen. He's going to survive it, or he already did survive it. And we're going to get to see him at some point in live action. I hope.
I hope so too, to be honest.
I really, really hope. You know, the sky's the limit for Cad Bane. And yeah, he might be a 70-year-old curmudgeon. We can get Wood to come in, painting blue, and it's all good.
Yes. Yeah. I made the joke yesterday on your channel. I don't know if you had saw the comment actually, but I said I can't wait to see Clint Eastwood play a 70-year-old Cad Bane in live action.
I think somebody said Don Cheadle.
That's good too. That's good too.
So much fun. Oh, you need to see me rocking the Santa hat. You know, I don't know if I've got it here with me right now. We're out of season, so no, I don't have my hat with me, but I'll definitely put it on for a special occasion in the future. So
Ducky Momo says he's been reading the Bounty Hunter comic on your Discord, and in the Bounty Hunter comic, Boba doesn't have the dent in the first chapter. He says, I'm on that chapter. He's no kid, so the duel may not be.
Interesting.
Yeah, I have to catch up with those comics because I'm just getting back into comics and everything. So
yeah, I do too. I have to get into it as well. And I've seen a lot of people asking about your jersey. Whose jersey?
Okay. I'll stand up a little bit. It's actually a Zion Williamson jersey. I played high school. I got out of high school 4 or 5 years ago now, and I remember my senior year. Zion Williamson was a sophomore, and I remember seeing him play against these kids on the East Coast, and I was just like, oh yeah, he's going to be good. So I've been a big fan of the guy ever since I was in high school. So I had to rep his jersey. I just ended up wearing it this morning.
Well, it's warm. It's warm in the lair. I've been watching your videos. You're always toasty.
Yeah, the lighting in here sometimes gets me really hot too, so, along with the heat wave we've been having. Kind of fits with all the lava though, right?
It sort of does, and it's going to be a problem. Like we'll have to put some logs on the fire for you if you end up staying up here.
Well, I think it would be refreshing to hopefully we do see him survive, or someone else kills him in Book of Boba, so that if I do end up coming, it'll actually be colder and I can actually go to the North Pole, you know.
Yeah, let it happen in December during the Book of Boba.
Yeah, please.
Not August. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. So this next episode, there's a lot of thought. Will it be the remaining trailer episode? And will we get a second half of the season trailer anytime in the next week? What do you think?
I've been hoping for it, and I've kind of been wondering the same thing. I definitely think the Raxus episode is probably coming up soon, if not this next episode. I think it, along with what's going forward, the rest of the season, episode 9, I believe, is the only episode we don't have a title for other than 15 and 16.
Right.
And I think it's possible that after their encounter with Rex, that they're going to try and meet back up with them, or, contact him, and that we potentially could see them going to Raxus and meeting up with Rex. And that's where we see the Walker, and we see potentially Rex with Gregor, or can't think of Wolf. And right. That's, that could potentially be their Walker that we see later on in Rebels. And we could potentially see the Empire catch up with them there. and they could use Rex's help probably trying to get Omega back too. So that's kind of where I'm at with it, but I'm
Nice.
not really sure.
Yeah, nice tie-in there with Rebels. I hadn't even connected to that walker there yet, but it's the ATTE, right?
Yeah.
It's the same walker. So this could be where that Rex and his crew end up with it. I saw yesterday Star Wars Meg was talking a lot about Cody, Commander Cody, and where he is. So we don't know about that, but I think too that we're headed to Raxus sooner than later.
Yeah,
and that's probably coming up in this next episode. So in my predictions, I'm Raxus heavy.
Yeah, me too. I'm right there with you. So maybe we will end up tying again.
maybe we will. And then the fun part after that is we don't know anything. And so it becomes everybody's predictions. Everybody just gets to theorize. And I know you and I are on the same page as far as Omega being force sensitive. Not really thinking so.
No,
but
it's possible, but I don't think so. Still,
yeah, exactly. We're on the exact same page there.
Yeah.
And, so I'm really curious. I'm hyped for this episode, and then next week, because I think I went at Raxus heavy. So if episode 9 is the Raxus episode, then I'm hoping we get a really good clues for where we're headed in episode 10, and that we get a second half of the season trailer. And some people are saying that they don't think we will get a second half of the season trailer because we didn't get it with Mandalorian.
Interesting. I do remember actually, I think the second half of the season for Mando, we got a trailer that showed actually a lot of like recap stuff that we got from the first half, I think.
Right.
But it wasn't any like new footage from what I remember. But so it is possible. And maybe that's why we got the episode titles from those leaks and everything, or from the, I think it was some like investor call or something like that,
Yeah. Braden asked, why don't we know 9? Or the leak didn't specify. It was in some publicity.
Yes. So it was for, I believe, the publicity for like the July episodes that are coming out. So episode 9 is still going to be here in June. So that's part of the reason why we didn't get that episode name, and also why we didn't get episodes 15 and 16, I believe, because I'm pretty sure it's confirmed that it's a 16 episode season.
Yeah, it is. And so then the other kind of bold predictions. There was early rumors. So somebody said, "Do we have any tea to spill?" I don't have any firm tea to spill, other than what we saw earlier from the folks over at Kessel Run Transmissions, who said that we were going to see Grogu in the Bad Batch, and we're going to see who rescues him, and it's a well-known Jedi. Now, Kessel Run Transmissions has had a few losses recently.
Yeah.
Some else. Let's put it that way. So it may not be an accurate leak, but if it is accurate, then Grogu and that well-known Jedi, who would be the well-known Jedi? And everybody speculates it's got to be Mace Windu.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's on both of the tip of our tongues. We're about to blur that. Mace Windu.
So I threw out there that Mace Windu could kill Cad Bane, and then it's a win-win for me.
No, yeah, that would be. That would stink for Sheiv, man.
I think maybe Mace Windu is who they're going to reintroduce him. And I know a lot of people complain about Star Wars not killing anybody, right? Nobody stays dead. It's really true. Like the list of people who came back versus the people who stayed dead, the comeback list is much bigger.
Yeah. Whether it's a Force ghost or what have you, they always come back, right?
That's exactly it. So Mace Windu coming back wouldn't bother me at all. I don't think that the complaint is if nobody dies, then there's no consequence. and you need to raise the stakes. The stakes aren't high enough. And maybe that's true. Ducky.
You saw the Mace Mephisto. Yeah, it's funny because Mephisto. Everybody's like, "Oh, it's gonna be Mephisto. This is Mephisto," and everybody does the same thing with Mace Windu too. So that's pretty funny.
Oh, very good. Yeah. So I think that we could very well be on a chase, and there's on the sides of these Black Series figures for the Bad Batch. And where Rex is, you can see a place where Mace Windu used to hang out. And so that was confirmed. It was from season 7 of the Clone Wars arc that was in there. But if it's on there for the Bad Batch, then they could go back there, and Mace Windu could be hiding out there.
I think that's possible. Thank you for bringing that up, because I know you had talked a little bit about the Black Series boxes and how they kind of connected and everything. So
yeah,
that is pretty interesting. That is pretty interesting.
So it kind of goes with the Mace Windu rumor that's where they'll go find Mace hiding out with. That's literally
cool.
all the characters would have come back to life. Well, almost literally. I mean. There's still a couple. Well,
Satine's dead.
Yeah, Satine's dead.
Padme
is dead.
It's all the lovers, right? Yeah. Everyone else comes back.
Uncle Owen, Aunt Beru, they're dead. There's a list that stay dead and don't come back as Force ghosts, but. Yeah.
Well, to what you were saying earlier too, you had talked about how there would be no consequences, but it really does seem like every time they bring a character back, they do end up dying again. So.
Yeah. Well, that's the other one. Like we all laugh about getting chopped in half and going down the shaft, right? So Maul definitely came back from being chopped in half, but Maul was then killed again.
Yes.
Exactly what you just said, right?
Yes.
So Maul was killed again by Obi-Wan, and he stays dead that time, right?
Yes.
Or at least so far.
Yeah. I was thinking of another one right now. Sidious. He comes back. He dies.
He comes back. And what's her name? The one who's been killed like 3 different times. What's her name? Somebody put it in the chat. Somebody's listening.
Is that That's not Luminara, is it?
No, not Luminara.
Although she definitely has a bunch of death scenes too and everything. Darth Jar Jar is coming. He's not dead.
Yeah. I don't see dental reports on those autopsies on Luke and. So not necessarily Beru and Shaq T. That's it.
Oh, yep.
Yeah,
that's
Shaq
right.
has been killed at least 3 times that I know of.
Probably like 4.
We can always bring her back and kill her again.
Do it. Oh, well, Count Dooku never comes back either. Now that I think of it.
Yeah, Count Dooku, he's yeah. Well, Jar Jar is not dead, and that's true. Like in Aftermath books, Jar Jar is still.
He becomes like a clown, right?
Right.
That's so messed up. Poor Jar Jar.
He went from being senator of Naboo to a street performer.
Oh man,
kind of tough for him.
Honestly, though, you either bring Mace back to life or make a Mace movie of his life. Otherwise, it's just a waste of a fantastic character. That's a decent point. I think he is a pretty good character. I mean, there's definitely times in Clone Wars where I'm like, Mace, you're the reason the Jedi fall, darn you.
Oh, right. The Clone Wars make Mace out to be a real jerk.
He kind of was.
Right. Like he's terrible. But at this point, to that comment, it's sort of like you need to explain why Mace hasn't come back. Everybody else has. Where's Mace? You need to either confirm that he, got sliced up in some blades on his way down, or something happened, or you've got to bring him back because everybody else has come back. Everybody.
Yeah.
how do you explain him just getting yeeted out a window?
Yeah, it was funny with the Martez sister thing. With everybody was speculating who could that character be. I was like, well, it could be Mace Windu. He could have fell to the lower levels of 1313.
That's true. That's absolutely true. And,
Which obviously it was Rex, but it was just fun speculation.
Yeah, exactly. It's fun. And they didn't find Mace's body. There's been nothing where I've seen that they have addressed where he went. We all know that he's a fan favorite, and as I said early, fan favorites always come back.
That they do.
If we've got Cad Bane back with a metal plate on his head from being shot in the noggin, then Mace Windu needs to come back after having his hand chopped off.
Yeah. Even if he did get unlimited power shot at him.
Right. I mean, he got electrocuted. But think about, Darth Vader got shocked by Palpatine when he threw him down the shaft, and it ended up killing him. But
his cybernetics, I'm sure, contributed to that as well.
Exactly. I think they could have saved him if he weren't dependent on the life support of the cybernetics.
Yes.
But even Palps comes back from that, right?
Yeah. I mean, even if it is like a Force essence thing, he definitely came back from what looked to be an unescapable death. So
yeah, and Luke got the crap zapped out of him too. That's true.
Yeah, he did, Ducky. And kind of what I was saying, like that was probably the height of Palpatine's power, and that's why he does the unlimited power, and so maybe that shock was a little extra strong, but I'm still on the boat that Mace Windu could have probably lived.
That's right. I think
Mace Windu went to the Avengers and a million other films. Yes, he did. That's how he got the scar on his eye, I guess, right?
That's exactly. That's why he has to wear the eye patch, because he took that Force lightning to the face. It's good stuff. No, I would love to see Samuel L. Jackson back in Star Wars. Samuel L. Jackson would love to be back in Star Wars.
Yes, he would.
Fans would love it. So I think it's one way you could kind of follow up the season 2 finale of The Mandalorian is to bring back Mace Windu, which raises the question of would they reveal him in the Bad Batch? Are they going to hold that off?
Yeah.
Reveal him in live action to get that response, right?
Yeah, and I think on Monday's Nerd Theory, I don't know if you had seen it, but I kind of watched or listened to playback yesterday at work, and Josh Lucas was talking about how it would be tough to follow up Mando 2 with Book of Boba and everything, since that's the next live action season that we're getting. And they, in a way, they have to almost top that last season of Mando. So how could you top it? Like Luke Skywalker, bring back Mace Windu.
Right. That's right. You bring back Samuel L. Jackson. I love the chat this morning. They're just fantastic.
They're great.
We're both talking how we're tired. I'm good. Santa's gonna have to take a nap after this.
Yeah, I have I have a dentist appointment at 9 a.m. Pacific time, so I might try to get another hour of sleep in, but I don't even know if I'll be able to.
Yeah, right. Braden, zero chance of bringing him back in the animated. I think that's the strongest argument, is that they need to follow that Mando 2 with something.
Yeah, and maybe they could, tease it and not fully show them. They've been doing that to us a ton in the Bad Batch already. We've had like 2 characters on comms that haven't been revealed. We had the Kaminoans talking to each other about hiring people, and like we never really got to see that, even though we know it was Fennec Shand and now Cad Bane.
Yeah,
but they've been teasing the hell out of us. I'm sure they could tease us some more by the end of the season.
Well, and things aren't going to work out well for the Kaminoans, right?
Yeah, I'm on the same page as you. I think they're gonna get killed off in this.
Yeah. Their plans are going to not work out so great. we did see that Dr. Pershing's wearing that Kaminoan patch.
Yes.
So, and we know that I think it was in the Vader comic run, or I get kind of sketchy when it gets on the comics and knowing which one's which, but the Kaminoans get obliterated. And that might be Legends. I'm not sure.
It could be, but there's all like Ahsoka says and Dave Filoni, there's always a little bit of truth to Legends.
That's true, and they've been bringing more and more of it in different ways. And I'm rereading the Ahsoka novel right now because I remembered when the season 7 of the Clone Wars happened that the Siege of Mandalore had some differences in it.
Yes.
And
yes.
Everybody keeps teasing, will Ahsoka show up in the Bad Batch?
Yeah.
And we've already seen Rex. Where you see Rex, and we've also seen R7, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
The only one we haven't seen is Ahsoka.
Yeah. And as I've said in some of my past live streams, Dave likes to put her in everything.
Exactly.
It's like that Frank's Red Hot commercial. He likes to put a little bit of Ahsoka in everything.
There you go. So I've been rereading the novel just to try to place everything in play, where it goes. And we know that another truth with Filoni is he doesn't give too much regard to paper.
No, he does not.
So it's very possible he could just ignore the Ahsoka novel entirely and bring her in, however. But at the same time, if he leaves it canonized, I'd like to know at least what happened in there and remind myself. And the book does open up on Empire Day celebration.
Interesting.
Meaning that, there's a prelude on the Siege of Mandalore, but then it opens on Empire Day celebration, which would indicate that a year had passed, right? It's marking the first anniversary of Empire Day. So if she shows up in the Bad Batch, we need more time to pass.
Yeah.
And I think it was you that did the homework. Somebody did the homework on how many of those treats that they had bought.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it wasn't me, but I definitely was interested by that. It was one of your viewers, definitely. I don't.
I remember. It's actually one of Thor Skywalker's peeps.
There you go.
That it is also comes by my channel and comments on my videos. But Skywalker's Academy, I think, is the guy. But he. Trev's here.
What's up, Trev? Happy you're here. 50 minutes late.
But and Trev's really good with lore as well. But he brought up that those treats that they had built up a certain amount of debt there that Sid was paying off, and by calculating how many of those that they had built up, you could calculate how many missions they went on. And it could be as many as 10 missions. And how much time between each mission would there have been to get that debt? And so it could have been a month. If we pass more time and we get Ahsoka in, and it's within the canon, the book, the novel timeline, then it could still work. If not, then we just toss the book out and say, okay.
Yeah. So that's a great point too, because I've been kind of curious if we're gonna get more time jumps. I know I had asked that to you in one of your lives, but I'm still curious if we'll get more going forward, and if that's how we could get Ahsoka. And I'm curious, kind of what happened with Crosshair and his team during that month period time, because they've probably gone on, like you said, probably at least a month worth of missions. So that's a big kind of chunk of time, though, where even though it's like not that big a time, like it is a decent while that we kind of skip through. So I'm curious what could have happened throughout the galaxy, like other than that. At some point, we could see stormtroopers getting integrated, and maybe that'll be with War Mantle in episode 14. But there's a lot of things that we could see going forward that could have to do with stuff that we kind of skimmed over, and we've been so focused on the Bad Batch's story because that's what it's about. The rest of the galaxy is like progressing so fast that everything's changing so fast. I'm curious what other things we might see.
Well, yeah, we know, like you mentioned, War Mantle, but we've got the transition from from clone troopers to stormtroopers going on. A month passes, there's going to be more recruits in the pipeline. We're going to see more stormtroopers coming in, and think about this last episode with Crosshair taking that blast to the face.
Yeah,
the damage he had. If he's healed or mostly healed in this next episode or the next time we see him, that's going to be some time. Even in Bacta, it takes a little bit of time.
Yeah, and it is possible we get another tiny jump as they try and recoup after Cad Bane just took Omega, so that they're probably trying to figure out what's the next step. How do we get Omega back? And that could be what leads them to Rex potentially, or something else. I do think at some point in the season, throughout the rest of the season, we will get Rex again, because they kind of just set that up perfectly to happen. And back to your Ahsoka point, because I did want to touch on this. I'm still a little bit of a noob myself when it comes to Star Wars books, and I know you've read a lot of them, or at least audio listened. In the Ahsoka novel, correct me if I'm wrong, the Siege of Mandalore mostly happens in memories or flashbacks from Ahsoka, right?
Exactly. The prologue to the book opens up with the Siege of Mandalore, and it's all in italics. It happened in the past, so it's her memory, right? And it opens the first chapter opens at the Empire Day,
So I'm curious if it's not really paper that Dave doesn't care about, but if it's more he's willing to twist some of the truth of flashbacks, as we've seen that in other Star Wars titles, such as The Last Jedi, with the whole Luke flashback, and how him and Kylo had different perspectives or point of views on it, and how in one of them Luke looked like a crazy maniac. So I'm curious if Dave is more twisting the truth of memories or reflections on things, or if it's him really just saying, these comics don't matter. Because I think even the Kanan comic, I think, is a flashback as well.
Yeah. He does play a little loose, and we know he's a big student of George's, right? And George didn't care.
He didn't care about it.
No, he didn't care about paper.
No.
So George was going to do whatever George wanted to do, even on film, as you said early, right? But George Maul, you chopped him in half. Yeah, well,
figure it out.
Right. So Filoni may be more of that kind of mentality where I'm going to tell the story I want. Yeah, figure it out.
Yeah. I definitely think that's where Dave kind of aligns to.
It's really good. So the other Jedi, all right, the well-known Jedi could be Ahsoka. I don't think Ahsoka could have saved Omega or
Grogu. Yeah, I don't think so either.
Yeah, she seems to meet him in Mando, right?
Yeah, and I find that interesting too, because you'd think, I know there were thousands of Jedi Knights during that time, but you'd think that she probably would have seen a little Yoda around the temple, right?
Right. He stands out, right?
Yeah, so, definitely.
He stands out in the crowd, like Santa. Like a lot of people say, "Well, I can't remember your name, but I've seen you before." I'm like, well, yes, you have. But that's kind of okay. Josh is going live in a minute, so we probably need to.
We'll skedaddle out of here in a sec.
So anyway, I think certified gumbo. Hello. No, taking shots at George. Well, George just didn't care about canon too much, right? He was going his story the way he wanted.
We're not taking shots at George here. Relax.
Right. We're just telling truth, right? We're just telling, and he'd change the original trilogy again if he had a chance.
I'm sure he would change a lot if he had a chance. We already know he did with some of the re-releases and everything.
That's right. He added McClunky in as one parting gift to us. Abby says we got 5 more minutes. Good, because Josh is going a little bit late.
All right. Was there any last minute predictions you had? I'm really curious what you're thinking of going forward with the rest of the season.
I think the second half of the season, the MacGuffin is going to be Omega. We're going to be chasing for her, and I think we're being misled on the rescue on Ryloth.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a
Me
red.
too.
So
I think it could be.
That's pretty much where my head is. We're going to be chasing down Omega. And I think there's a couple big surprises still coming. Vader could absolutely show up.
Yes.
Ahsoka could show up towards the end. And I'm going this direction right here.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Omega's armor right there.
Omega's white helmet and Boba Fett coming into the show as well. I'm for it. And then, of course, Cad Bane dying.
Right. But Vader will kill him.
Oh, darn. He's going to force choke his tubes.
Cinch him off. I think, and we're in agreement here, 100% Boba Fett shows up before the season's over.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. I'm with you.
Yeah.
We'll both die on that hill.
Exactly. We can rage together if it doesn't
happen. Give us Boba versus Cad.
We'll have to go rewatch some of the Mephisto rants that Josh did.
Man,
recreate them.
Yeah, people can make a whole video of Sheiv predicting all this Boba Fett stuff and have like some sad music playing.
It'd be great. Vader's Christmas lair. I'm rooting for it. We need it. Santa certainly doesn't want to go hang out on Mustafar. So
I don't blame you. It's starting to get hot. It's starting to even get hot today. So we'll see.
We've had a ton of fun, Sheiv. I thank you for getting up early and getting this going for us.
No problem, man.
Look, I've been up since 3 a.m. Eastern, but I'm going to go take a nap after this. And
sounds good.
This is the way, right?
This is the way. True that. So thank you for coming on this morning, Santa, and thank you for waking up early. I know you were already up, but thanks for staying up for me. I know you're about to take a nap. It's been great having you on, man, and I hope to have you on plenty more in the future. I think we make a pretty good team here. Yeah,
I do too, Sheiv. We'll collaborate on a regular basis for sure.
Sounds good to me. All right. Well, everybody go subscribe to Star Wars Santa if you haven't already. I know most of you are probably Star Wars Santa fans as I am. Go check out his channel, though. Go give him a subscribe. Check out all his latest videos. He does some great, awesome work. And like I said before at the beginning, he is probably the most wholesome, awesome Star Wars fan on YouTube. So go check him out.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much.
For sure. Have a good rest of your day, Santa. And thanks for stopping by again.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you so much.
All right, guys. We're going to head out of here right now. I had a great time with Santa. I cannot wait to have him back on the stream. Thank you guys for all stopping by. Thank you to the chat for being so awesome this morning. You guys killed it, and I hope you enjoyed just having a little bit of collaboration with me and Santa. Again, I cannot wait to keep doing this with him in the future. I think we make a pretty dang good team, so I'm hyped for it, man. I'm hyped for the rest of the season. I think we're going to get Rex. We're going to get Boba. Hopefully we see Cad Bane die, but I know we didn't fully get into that conversation, but we definitely touched on it. I think we had some pretty good thoughts, both of us. So, yeah, hopefully we get Boba Fett this season. I'm still going to die on that hill. I'm going to die on the white Boba Fett helmet hill. And it's potentially possible we could see Omega get it too. I like Santa's thoughts on that. Again, have a great rest of your day, and may the Force be with you always. It's been Sheiv. Oh, my bad. That's not what I wanted.